everybody. I'm Sprinkles, and I'm here with Jelly today. She works at the First Ascent
Hello,
office.
I'm Jelly.
So Jelly is going to be leading a meditation about gratitude, and I'm just going to talk about it a little bit before we get started. So at First Ascent's programs, there is a campfire every night, and during the campfire, they Sorry, I was muted for a second. Okay, so at the First Ascent campfires, they give shout outs, and sometimes they're to people or they're for fun moments. Like someone might help you face their fears, or someone else may have done a good job doing that. Someone may have been really helpful or supportive. And so we just like give shout outs here and there. And it's a good way to just practice gratitude a little informally. And so our gratitude meditation today is going to focus around this idea of giving shout outs in your own life. But let's talk about why should we practice gratitude? And I want to do a little experiment with you first. I want you to just take a quick notice if your mind is giving you resistance or relief today. Like, for example, it's like snowy, rainy here in Denver, and I got home really late from a trip. So this morning I woke up feeling like a little groggy and like a little in resistance mode, like, oh, I'm tired. So I purposely did a gratitude meditation. So it's okay if you're in resistance mode. Now, take a deep breath in and smile really big. And then exhale and keep your smile. Now do that again. Take a deep breath in and smile big. Exhale, keeping that smile. And now notice, do you feel just a little lighter and brighter physically in your body? Like I always notice that when I smile, I feel a little bit better, right? Maybe a little shift in your inner world too. So gratitude is really cool because it's a mindfulness practice for your mind, and it's going to do the same thing. It's going to be like giving your mind a little bit of a hug or a little kiss for your brain. And when we practice gratitude, it releases these feel-good chemicals called oxytocin and dopamine in your body. So with consistent practice with gratitude, science shows that it actually can help lower stress. It can promote better sleep, and it helps our relationships because naturally we're happier. And this is a really, really interesting one. It can actually strengthen your immune system. And so as they're healing, right, and going through these journeys of either cancer or MS, good to have a really strong immune system. And so it's normal for anxiety and worries it just to come into our life and take over. And that will happen regardless, and especially when you're navigating a serious health condition. And this is because our brain is designed to keep us safe. It's designed to look for threats. And so it's constantly like looking out for us. But the good news is we can actually change our brain. There's something called neuroplasticity, and that means that our brain is like moldable. And so I like to think of this as like if you're hiking a trail and you notice that there's like some brush that's down over the trail, or there's a tree or some twigs, kind of hard to hike, right? But if you clear that up, it's easier to walk the trail and it's just a more enjoyable experience. So think of gratitude as a way to pave a new neural pathway in your brain. The more you do it, the smoother the path will be. So now we're going to experience it. Jelly's going to take you through the shout out meditation. So let's go ahead and we'll transfer to her.
Cool. Thank you, Sprinkles. So we're going to kick this off just by journaling for just a minute. Just if you have anything that comes to mind that you're grateful for, just jot it down. It can be in bullet form. It can be sentences, whatever you feel like. Just we're going to take a minute to do that right now before we drop into the meditation. Now you can set aside your journal and just find your way into a comfortable meditation position, which could be sitting up, lying down, whatever feels right for you today. Just allow your eyes to close if that feels comfortable to you, or you can just gaze towards the floor, your vision soft and unfocused. And give yourself permission to be here right now. Now invite your awareness to your breath. Where do you most clearly feel your breath right now? Could be the tip of your nose or the back of your throat, or the rise and fall of your chest or your stomach. Doesn't matter where you detect it. Just let your awareness settle in on that place and be your anchor to the present moment. And in this relaxed state, just take a moment to reflect on what you're grateful for in the past day. It's time for some shout outs. You can shout out a little delight, like a happy dog, or a compliment from a kind stranger. Could be a small achievement that you're proud of, something beautiful that you saw. It can be towards a friend or a caregiver. Just give some shout outs to what you're grateful for today and visualize yourself saying thank you to each one of them. Next, we're going to expand our timeline a bit, and we're going to shout out stuff from the past week. What can you remember from this past week that made you smile or laugh, feel seen or appreciated? What parts of your body have felt good and supportive this week? Maybe your feet have taken you to a beautiful place, or your hands have held a book that you've loved. As these moments come back to you, just sit with each one of them and say thank you. Doesn't matter if you have 1 or 100 things come to mind, just see if you can sit in gratitude with each thing that comes up. Finally, let's reflect on the past year. You can consider the small everyday joys, like a good meal or kindness from a friend. You can think too about the extraordinary moments. Times you feel a sense of awe or accomplishment. Times you felt inner peace. As each memory surfaces, imagine yourself saying thank you. Allow the feeling of gratitude to move and settle in your body. And just notice where it shows up as a physical sensation for you. Take a few deep breaths and really sink into this feeling of gratitude. Know that you can tap into this feeling whenever you need. You can slowly bring a twinkling of movement back to your fingers and toes. You can flutter your eyes open if they aren't already. Just take a moment to reacquaint yourself with your surroundings and take a big stretch if you need. And when you're ready, you can pull your journal back out. We're just going to take a couple more minutes here. You can jot down whatever came up for you in this meditation. If stuff shifted, if you want to write down how gratitude felt in your body, or if anything particular that you felt especially grateful for, just take a few minutes to keep journaling. All right. Sprinkles, you want to kick off a discussion?
Yes. Before we go into our discussion, because we're going to stop recording at that point, I do have just a few things to say. So just kind of hold all of your thoughts for just a moment. Um, First of all, just kind of curious if you notice that release of those feel-good chemicals I was talking about, that dopamine, the oxytocin. I know that I feel it when I practice gratitude, and it's so interesting because I tend to have a critical mind and find myself ruminating a lot. And so to me, gratitude practice, it's nice to know that it's almost like this superpower that we can take out anytime, anywhere, like when you're sitting in the doctor's office or maybe having a stressful day at work, and you can kind of go towards gratitude, and it sort of shifts things. So when we can't control certain things in our life, the one thing we can control is what our mind is doing, and we can shift it just that easily. So practicing is key because, like I said, we got to rewire those neural pathways and kind of pave them so that they're a little smoother and easier to get down. So the takeaway today is to experiment with practicing like before bed and again when you wake up in the morning. You can just take 2 minutes, 5 minutes, do it maybe around another habit, such as like brushing your teeth. So it's easy to remember, like, oh, I'm going to brush my teeth and practice gratitude. I have a teacher who said that a good day starts the night before. And I really love that perspective because as we're going to bed, there's also this theory, I think Wayne Dyer talks about it, where the last 5 minutes before you go to bed are most important because whatever's in your mind then goes into the subconscious. And that's what we sort of dream and ruminate about at night. So if we do this before we go to bed and just recount, give a few shout outs for the day that we went through, it's like giving your brain a healthy, positive, good night snack. So just experiment with it throughout the month of November, and then maybe like check in with yourself around Thanksgiving and just notice if you've noticed things have shifted. And if you forget, totally fine. Sometimes when we forget to do things, that is our learning experience of realizing that they actually work, because then it's like, oh, that I felt better the day that I did that. So just kind of feel around, see how it goes. And yeah, if you come again to our next mindful moment on the first Monday in December, you can let us know how it was for you.